Yo, Cover One crew, what is going on? Happy weekend. Hope it's going well thus far. Thought I'd dive in and give you another scouting report on some defensive players. Today we're talking Clemson edge rushing presence, Myles Murphy. And, for me, a lot of people are not talking up this man near enough because I do like his game quite a bit. And I think he's going to make some waves, in the pros, depending on how his maturation process does continue to go. But I was pleasantly surprised when I did watch his film. He just finished up his pro day this past week. Everybody's gushing over the size and ability that he does possess, and I tend to agree because he is one of these guys that we're hoping is going to turn out to be, the first round grade talent that we hope he's going to be. He is definitely a good talent. But first, before we get started, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button for me. Help us grow this channel that much more. And if you're ready, we're going to be doing scouting reports like a madman coming up because the NFL draft is almost in full swing. So let's talk a little Myles Murphy, edge rusher, Clemson. When we talk about players like a Myles Murphy, he is going to be probably, I don't want to say 100% because nothing's ever 100%, but he's probably going to be a good cornerstone on any defense, going to help out the defensive front. Is he going to take over games himself? Maybe. It's going to happen from time to time, but he is going to be that piece that any defensive line will covet. No kidding. Let's dive first into those measurables. He stands 6'5", 275. You kidding me? This guy's a unit. 21 years of age. Definitely not talked about near enough in my opinion. I think this man should be up everybody's board. 35 contests, 116 total tackles. This is probably one of the best part of his games. 36 tackles for loss, 18 and a half sacks. So he is a penetrator. He is relentless, going after the quarterback, going after the running backs. He is very good in this department. 5 pass defenses and 6 forced fumbles on the stat line in 35 games. He does it all very, very well, and at his frame of 6'5", 275, he's got a boatload of pros to talk about. Beast of a frame, stout upper and lower body. I mean, he's just a unit like I'm saying, and he does have the wheels to boot. So I'm telling y'all, he is one of these players. I'm just confused. He put it all on film. It's there to see. Yes, there is traits that inhibit overall top-end productivity, but he is still very good, and if he gets on a defensive front that people will exploit and that he's got help on the other side, Myles Murphy is going to be a problem, no kidding, especially with that frame and how put together he is. Physically gifted, very athletic, speed-power combo is definitely on point. He's going to go after it, and there's no kidding. I think that, especially with his strength and then the speed that does, show a lot on film, he's definitely getting after the quarterback and the running backs. He's got very good acceleration around the edge. I didn't want to say burst. I will talk about the burst in the cons just a little bit, but once he gets going, the first 2-3 steps, the accelerators are definitely on point, and he is getting after it. This is, like I said, probably his best trait that I love out of my edge presence is the high-quality pursuit ability, especially tracking down running backs. Going east to west, he is tracking these ball carriers down, and he's relentless. He is not giving up. He's going to continue to go. Rarely do you see him taking, a lot of plays off, and he's just going to continue to, pressure the quarterback, sack pressures, man. Okay, sack productivity and pressures. You got to get the percentage of pressures up, and you know that he's going to be a disruptor and a penetrator. Has that second gear in pursuit speed. Like I said, once the accelerators kick in, he is not stopping, and he can track down ball carriers with the best of them. Is he going to be like Jadeveon Clowney in the run game? I would say probably not. Jadeveon's like my standard when it comes to edge rushers, playing against the run, but Myles Murphy is very good in that respect because of that pursuit speed, because of that pursuit awareness and ability. I just love that about Myles Murphy's game. Big time, man. Quick reaction release, quick reaction release from the block to pursue, resets and escapes. Okay, that's a mouthful, but I mean, he resets and escapes, and I wanted to put it down that way because you don't see a lot of players, once they're locked up, they, reset. You got to reset your stats, you got to reset your arms, and then continue to go after it. Myles Murphy does this extremely well. It's a very unique trait for you, especially edge rushers who do give up once they are locked up. Myles Murphy will reset and try to get around still. He's very much relentless in that respect. High motor, you got to love that about his game. Containability when engaged is strong. So when you're talking the quarterback RPOs, you're talking the running back, he's containing it at least for his support cast to come after the ball carrier. Myles Murphy understands gap awareness extremely well. Very good high football IQ for the good college production it shows. He understands where he needs to be on the field, what his responsibilities are, and I got no issues in this man for all of it. It is very, very good, okay? Very good versus the run. Like I'm saying, I think that it's not necessarily going to be Jadeveon Clowney, but he is very good. The arms are long enough where he's going to still attack ball carriers even when he is engaged. I think that, it's still not, we see how many times, even if edge rushers, defensive linemen, are locked up, they're either putting their hands up or they're still trying to close up the gap so the running backs can't find a way through. Myles Murphy does this all very well, man. Very top level, explosive on stunts. He just gets it, man. The football IQ in this man. He just gets where he needs to be and where he needs to go majority of the time. Nobody's perfect. Like I'm saying, very strong arm hand force, pushing on tackles. He does the power game extremely well. The speed and power is there in a Myles Murphy, but I understand where a lot of people are going to, say there's negatives in the game. So let's go talk about some of those cons. Off the line, get off slower than expected. So this is talking about the burst. I thought he was going to be a little bit better, but maybe I was expecting a little too much because he is 6'5", 275. You got to take a little bit off when it comes to, thinking about the grain of salt arguments of saying, he should have burst, but that you're talking unique human beings at that weight that have a, explosive first step off the line. He's not dreadful, but it is something that I'm not going to, give check marks for. It is more the accelerators once he gets off the tackle and then he's going into the backfield making plays. Swim packages, it could use some refinement. It's not part of his game that, I'm going to say is top end, but he does it. He does it from time to time, but it's not one of my favorite moves. Packages, he is more power and speed that you want to say bull rushing offensive tackles in that respect, but there is refinement needed in that swim package. Not much finesse move to his game. There isn't much dip and rip. It is basically force and speed that he is trying to attack the offensive tackle and then he's trying to get after the quarterback. So, can he learn finesse moves? That's a question. It is likely he'll pick up some in the pros with some good coaching and some teammate coaching as well. But I think his game is pretty much predicated upon the fact that his body frame is that stout. He is very physical and strong. He's going to continue to utilize that because it has worked to his benefit thus far in college football. Needs a little bit more creativity. He gets locked up from time to time, like I'm saying, and then he's kind of stuck in that same mold. They kind of figure out his rushing scheme, and he's got to be a little bit more creative. Switch it up. Try some rips. Try some swims. And then, go with the footwork and then maybe mix it up with some power. You're gonna see him round it out. I think it's not limited to his game overall, but I think he's gonna have more than enough to work it out. Can he get locked up at point of contact? Yes, he can, and that's the type of things. But when you're talking about running game versus the run, I should say he still is very active, like I said. So getting locked up, he doesn't quit. He doesn't give up. He is relentless with the high football IQ. Stays in his zone at least for assistance for his linebackers or safeties to come in and mop up duties. He does it all very well, but he can get locked up at times, which is why a lot of players are saying he's not an elite, or a lot of scouts are saying that he's not an elite level talent in this draft, but he is worthy of a top 15 pick. I still think, I'm still kind of on the fence to call him elite, but I think he's threshold. He's very, very good in a lot of these departments. Fluidity isn't top end. And again, for 275, 6'5", you want to see just no tight hips, fluid hip movements that he can, dip and rip. But is it going to be part of his game like a Will Anderson? Probably not. Will Anderson is great at the dip and rip. Myles Murphy, not so much. So the fluid top end ability, not necessarily there. And you guys know how I covet my fluid players. It's just not there, but he makes up for it in so many aspects, especially when you're looking for a guy who can defend the run, who can play extremely well versus the run. Myles Murphy is going to do that for you as well. But for grading purposes, we got to give grade scores because this is what it's all about. And this ain't just about fantasy football. It's about NFL pro football. 79.3%. I got a grade score on a Myles Murphy. He is, a very good talent. And I think that he's being slept on just a little bit in this whole process. You don't see the national media talking about him at all, basically. Outside of his pro day, getting some rave reviews from NFL scouts, you don't see a huge deal talking about Myles Murphy. And I think that's a disservice to this man because I think his game is extremely sound and he will show. If he's put on a great defensive front, I think he's going to show his stock and value extremely well. But, there you go. There's Myles Murphy from Clemson, edge rusher, dynamo, I guess we can call him. So there you have it. There is some more defensive talent coming into this NFL draft. I'm a fan of Murphy. I think he is a good, solid player. And okay, will he ever turn out to be, the full top end elite prospect that some of us do say he could be? I wonder. That's why I'm still kind of on the fence. I'm putting a little caveat question mark on the game, but I still believe in this man. I think he is very good, very sound, and in the right system, he is going to showcase his talents, and he's going to make people say, how the hell did he fall in this draft? No kidding. But nevertheless, as always, don't forget to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, jump in those comments, give me your thoughts. Tons of scouting reports coming as we're getting, 3 weeks from the NFL draft. I'm going to load you up with scouting reports so you guys know who these players are. So anything you want to talk about, drop it in the comments. But nevertheless, we'll see you next time. I am out.